fifth, sixth time, I don't know how many times we've been over this. Every year it's the same thing. Just listen. If you want something on the agenda, go in the office and ask to have it put on the agenda. And then you can vote on it. It's not difficult.
Don't you have things on the agenda?
What's that? I didn't sign it.
Yeah, well, I don't
No.
think that's right.
Well,
You don't
okay.
sign in, so we can't have a meeting?
You can still have a quorum. I mean, you can have a quorum if you want. I can say I'm here. But the point is, you can't vote on anything because it's not on the
But
agenda.
don't you have some things on the agenda?
No, I have nothing on the agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. And a couple of things, a little information here. Our condo documents consist of three parts: the articles, the declaration, and the bylaws. And they have different priorities. Maybe David would like to explain that, because David's pretty knowledgeable about condo law. You want to explain the difference between the articles, the condo declaration, and the bylaws?
Well,
Which has priority?
which has priority? They each are on their own.
No, that's not true.
Well, I mean, your declaration lays out the first set.
I know, but one has priority, one has second priority, one has third priority. No? Okay.
No, they
well,
each stand on their own.
What's that?
I think they each
No,
stand
they
on
do
their
not.
own.
Okay. The Declaration is like the federal Constitution. That has precedence over everything. The next one is the Articles. And that's like the state laws, okay? And then the last one are the bylaws, and those are like county laws. Now, you can have a county law, or you can have a state law, but if it doesn't coincide with what the federal law says, guess what? It's not true. It doesn't matter, it's not enforceable. You could have back in the old days, they had all kinds of state laws about race and so forth. Well, federal law superseded all of that, so. That's the way it works. The Declaration is number one, Articles are next, and then the bylaws. To straighten something up that's been a misconception here for a long time, the Declaration, which was amended in 2013,
By you, right?
by the board, sir, by the board. The board,
Was there a
it doesn't, wait. The board amended the declaration, and the attorneys, of course, wrote it up. Okay, and that said, hold on a second, hold this, and I'll tell you.
So you got the meeting and everything, it's recorded, right?
Of course, yeah. And the attorneys, trust me, we have pretty good attorneys, and they wouldn't have done that without it being legal.
And we're all those-
Hold on, please, let me finish here. Let's not interrupt, okay?
You just said we got good attorneys. How come you had them send out a declaration with your last put out against David?
No, I had them explain what happened, and, okay.
Bunch of BS is what
Yeah,
it is.
well, you can say that, but that's, what the word is from the attorneys. Hold on just a second, I'll have this, there's so much paperwork here.
Hey Rick, who are our attorneys?
Becker, Polikoff, and Streitfeld, well, they're not Streitfeld anymore, Streitfeld was. Okay, hold on just a second, too many papers, all right. Here's the original Declaration of Condominiums, page 20 and 21.
Tony.
Notice of the subject matter of a proposed amendment shall be included in the notice of any meeting at which a proposed amendment is considered. Notice of any proposed amendment to this declaration of condominium or to the bylaws should be given to the association. Resolution. A resolution adopting a proposed amendment may be proposed by the board of directors or the association or by the members of the association. Directors or members not present at the meeting considering the amendments may express their approval in writing. Except as elsewhere provided, such approvals must either be by not less than 3 directors, or by not less than 75% of the votes of the members of the association. That, my friend, is very dangerous, because that means that 3 members of any board at any time in the future could completely amend all of the amendments, all of the documents.
Which is what you did.
No, which is what could have been done. For instance, some condos have outlawed rentals. They say, okay, nobody can rent their units, or you can only rent it once every 2 years, and so forth, etc. That was not something that would have been good for anybody. So it was changed, and it was changed legally. And people can send out letters saying this and that and so forth. Doesn't matter. Stories are nice. Here's the documentation.
Read
okay?
the whole thing.
What it says.
Except as otherwise provided.
Except as elsewhere provided. And it doesn't matter because the declaration is the federal law. Anything that's
It
in the
does matter
articles of
because
the bylaws,
the bylaws say that the bylaws can
I
only
know
be
what the
amended.
bylaws say, and guess what, again, federal laws, declaration, articles, bylaws.
No.
Now, some people apparently think they have a law degree, I don't, but I do know what, when the attorneys say things. It sounds like what you're saying is the attorneys are either incompetent or they're.
You mentioned that the attorneys and judges were incompetent 2 years ago.
No,
You did.
I've made comments about the way the attorneys have handled things, but when it comes to the law, they know the law, okay? Sometimes judges are responsible for stuff too. Anyway, so let's clear that up too.
Well, the only way we know the judges is what you found.
I'm sorry? Anyway, so that's cleared up. The amendments were done legally, okay? Okay, let's talk about the bankruptcy thing. David was very upset about me disclosing that. I don't know he didn't
Why would you
disclose
make
so.
it personal, Rick? This
It's
is
not
about the
personal.
condo
It's
association.
not personal.
Oh, it is
You're
personal.
asking for a fiduciary position and you should have disclosed it. But
Why
here's the
didn't
deal.
everybody get a
No,
letter?
you haven't disclosed your finances.
My finances are an open book. I've never filed for bankruptcy.
You didn't disclose them, though. Mine are open book, too. Ask me about it, I'll explain it.
What do you expect me to do?
This
Get
is
my
a
bank account to-
this is
bank
a
account?
non-subject and it's not related to the
Okay.
condo association.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, the truth is he went into a highly profitable but highly volatile and highly cyclical business using taxpayer money and SBA loans without covering his downside risks. Difference between him and me, I just bought a unit. I wouldn't have done that unless I had resources to cover every expense I had on that unit if I didn't make a dime for the next 5 years. That's the way I invest. I'm a finance guy. I'm not a salesman. Salesmen are not good finance guys. Finance guys are not.
We
good
don't
salesmen.
care how you invest. We
Yeah.
care how you treat people.
Yeah.
And how
Okay.
you spend money.
All right, let's go on to another thing.
$150,000 on a lawsuit that could
Let's
have
go
been
into
settled
another
for
thing.
$6,700.
The
Rick, this is
allegation-
campaign stuff. The
The
campaign's over.
allegation of the late night work on Unit 292. Now, he says his tenant never heard a thing. I have a letter from a tenant in 493, and she's willing to come over right here now.
Call her.
Plus Lorraine.
Call her.
You want me to have her come over?
Call her, yeah.
Get it on. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Where's the minutes to the meeting on the lawsuit?
Lawsuit, 150,000.
If Kim or Lorraine calls and have her come over. But she's willing to say, yes, there was late night work and so forth. It happened a couple of times.
Well, call it.
You know, Rick,
Okay.
none of this matters. Why are you doing this?
But we have a signed statement from her too, and she will come over and address the crowd.
There is
It does
no
matter,
agenda.
it does matter, because stories have been told and so forth, and stories aren't worth much.
This is improper.
Documentation.
This is improper.
Our employees are not doing 40 hours a week, they're working for you.
That's not what
They
we're talking
do
about.
not do 40
Okay.
hours a week.
Okay,
Our
Okay, now,
employees do
here's another
not
one.
do 40
And this-
hours a week.
and this is important to all of us. The air conditioner unit that was put on the ground from the wall. And Larry Parks has a letter, which is in here, and he can tell you, I have never, ever, nor would I, put an air conditioner unit on the ground that's in the wall. The place was built in '74 as apartments. And it was apartments until '79 when the Brooks took it over and converted it into a condominium. At that point, the developer ran it from '79 to '85 until the owners took over. I'm sure some units were put on the ground during that period of time, which we had no control over whatsoever. But here's the point. An air conditioner unit was taken out of the wall and put on ground that belongs to you and 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 me. Was put right on the ground. No, it's a common element. It's just like the swimming pool. One person can't come over and build a building on the swimming pool. That's for everybody's use. Every inch of square footage is a common element that isn't something else. Okay? You can't take land that belongs as a common element to 226 owners and put your own air conditioner on it. It doesn't work. It's not right. We have a letter from the attorney. It's a material alteration of the common elements.
And I did ask, and Lorraine said, yes, you can do it.
But it doesn't matter. Lorraine isn't the authority here.
Well,
Yes, she
she's
is.
the manager.
She's groundskeeper.
No.
She's the manager.
You don't ask Lorraine a legal question because she's not a lawyer.
And how many air conditioners on the ground do you own?
I own some that were already there. Larry Parks has a
You
letter
own
right
some
here.
that were there, not
Doesn't
all
matter.
of the ones that you
All of the
own.
units that are on the ground were there. Larry Parks, Larry, would you verify that, please, that I've never put one on the ground?
I've never done it for anybody in
Okay.
Fine, do
So
what you want
again,
to do
you
about
can
that.
hear the story or you can hear the facts, okay? Again, story is facts, okay? So it's
So everything
wrong,
you say is
it's illegal.
facts, everything we say is story.
No, it's just that I have documentation, I have proof. Anybody can tell a story. I can say Mr. Rothermill robs banks. Does that make it true? No. And if I said that, he'd probably get documentation proving I was wrong. He's made a lot of allegations and so forth, which I can disprove in a heartbeat, but nobody wants to hear it because they like to hear all the stories. And I'd like to say, this isn't the first rodeo, guys. This is about the 5th or 6th.
How about the 34?
We've had the Messiahs before. We had Dumbrell, we've had Gas and so forth. We had Cementelli.
And what about the minutes to that meeting on the lawsuit?
What about it?
What about the meetings who voted to sue him?
The board of directors.
Like I said, somebody brought that up and I think there was an error made and it wasn't put in the minutes.
Yeah, right.
Why?
That's the official condominium records.
Corporate minutes can be retroactively amended all the time.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to jail. You're
Okay.
gonna be in jail.
Oh, well, I'm worried.
You're
I'm
gonna
very
be in
worried.
jail.
Okay, also, we filed a complaint with the Department of Business Regulation because our computer system was hacked, phone numbers were stolen, and several people have complained, and I have documentation about that too, about receiving unauthorized phone calls. One of them was from Mr. Jameson, was from Jack Caulfield, and when Mr. Jameson inquired, what's that?
Prove it.
Okay, well, you want to read the letter?
What's
Should I
an
read the letter out loud?
unauthorized phone call,
It's a
Rick?
bunch of crap.
Should I read the letter out loud? I know.
Yes,
You're
sir.
going around campaigning and slandering
Everybody's a
me
liar
and
except
everybody
you.
who's running on the board, Rick.
Everybody's a liar
You're
except
nothing
you.
but a dirtbag.
Yeah, well, okay, but
And that's
anyway,
why we're going down the tooth, because you have an employee here that is giving all these racial slurs about tenants and owners and
Okay.
employees. And
Okay.
we're gonna get a lawsuit because she calls people faggots, lesbians, spics, and niggers.
okay,
Okay?
well, like I
So
said,
you are going to be, we're gonna be sued to the point where.
well, it hasn't happened,
Yeah.
has it? Anyway, here it is. This email is informing that John Caulfield, the unit leader of Burgundy 2, contacted me via phone to my cell phone in early mid-December 2019. He was contacting me regarding the upcoming election of Burgundy 2. I was surprised to receive a phone call from Mr. Caulfield because I did not know him, and so therefore I've never given him my telephone number. He indicated that the calls like this are being made to other condo owners. At the end of our conversation, I inquired as how he received my number. His response was, I don't know. He then said, maybe I got it from the county record. County doesn't have the record. It's okay that he called me, but I believe it is wrongdoing that he did not disclose how he got my number. From my understanding, my phone number is not available on county records. I wanted to write this letter so that it's officially known.
You can get a phone number any-
That I did not
anybody in
give,
the United States.
that I did not give permission for my phone number to be provided over lease,
Doesn't matter.
et cetera. Well, no, some
You know
people can.
phones, I get-
Yeah, no, you can't get everybody's
You can.
phone number, trust me. There's another letter here from Mark Scogan stating the same thing, that he had a letter,
Rick, can I ask you a question?
yeah, real quick.
Did you call up anybody in campaign, ask them to vote?
Yes, I did. You know what? I've had those phone numbers for years.
And where did you get them?
Way back when it was okay to get phone numbers. It's not anymore. About 7 years ago, they said.
Yeah, and they all had their cell phones in.
No,
Aren't we allowed as owners to have a list of the owners?
no, you can have their addresses, you can't have their phone numbers. That's the law. Again, that's not Rick Snyder, that's the law. That's Florida law. Okay. Again, anyway, other things happen. This was an interesting one.
We don't need to hear this
No,
bullshit.
you know, once in a while,
It's
you've heard all these
anti-
stories. Would you please be quiet for a little bit?
I don't have to be
I'll
quiet.
let you talk in a minute.
The campaign's over, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
point
campaign is
is,
over.
the
The
point
campaign
is,
is over.
Voting's
the point
over,
is,
Rick.
Into the vote.
yeah, the point is,
None of us want to hear it.
yeah, well, of course you don't, because it's the truth.
No.
Dennis Blink,
Your version of the
Because,
truth isn't the
because we've
truth.
heard you talk for a long time, and every time.
Dennis Blink gave Lorraine his 4 ballots. Lorraine took them over to the office to Kim, and a very short while later, he got a text from Mr. Rothermill that said, hey, Dennis, I understand you voted your 4 units and so forth. And then he made a comment about, did you really fill them out or did somebody else fill them out? And Dennis was real interested to know how Mr. Rothermel knew that information.
And do you know why he was asked that question? Because 20 minutes before then, I'd had a conversation with him on the phone, and he said he was in North Carolina and did not send his ballots in. He said, no, I didn't.
Well, you can call him and ask him right now. His ballots were brought in by himself.
Absolutely.
given to
He
him,
said
and-
he did.
And
But
that's,
there was no indication that he made to you that somebody else filled out his ballots.
no.
And
No, but he told me he didn't turn them in,
How did
but
you
they
know
were
that
turned in.
information instantaneously from when he turned them in? How did you know that? Okay, so there's been a lot of
You
shenanigans.
have people on your, you have employees that
Okay,
talk,
here's
Rick.
another thing. Lorraine came over to the clubhouse when there was a meeting going on over here.
Oh, this is it.
And this was real interesting because she was denied access to the clubhouse. Now,
false.
No, that is
seven-
untrue.
Oh, it's true. It's
No,
true.
it is
It is
not.
not true.
Yeah, 718 says you cannot deny access
I have a
to
witness.
the recreational
We have
facility.
witnesses too,
Yeah.
Rick, you know.
But here's the point. This is ironic.
So you're taking her here saying, she's no good when we're saying stuff.
No,
But you're
this
saying
is,
that you're gonna take
this
her.
is ironic because Lorraine had a legal right to be here. Guess what? You don't. When you rent your units, you give up your right to use the recreational facilities. You probably should know that.
That is our guest.
Well, who was
That
the
is
guest?
our, that is our guest.
Well, he may have been a guest.
Okay, then.
But he doesn't have the right to tell Lorraine she can't be here.
And I did not.
Well, Lorraine called us and told us she was told. to
Yeah.
leave.
And
Well,
Lorraine
Lorraine
never
lied
lies,
before.
does she?
Well, he never lies,
I
yeah.
will say one thing about Lorraine. All Lorraine does is lie to owners here.
But yet,
She
David,
lies and lies and lies.
but David quotes her in
She
his
is
letters
such
and
a liar.
says, she told him I had
Don't
to.
you look at me like that, mister.
What?
But she is such a liar.
Oh, yeah, please.
She's unbelievable.
We all know it,
Everything
so-
out of her mouth is a damn
Okay.
lie.
And there were
Okay.
witnesses to that last
Yeah. There's a small group of people that attend every meeting and they think that the court, this accords them special consideration.
No,
And
that's
that by
what
their
you're saying.
presence-
That's
no,
your word.
No, no, no.
That is your
And that by their
word.
presence can force the board to adopt their agenda. If you attend 100 or 1,000 meetings, it gives you no preference over a person who has
Actually,
never
we're
attended a
saying, we
meeting.
probably attend
Some
more
people-
meetings than half the
some
goddamn
people-
board.
Some people would not attend a meeting if you paid them because they don't like hearing
No, they're-
all this stuff that goes on.
What time was the lock cut off the box?
I'm sorry?
What time is the lock cut off the box? They're all gonna be identical, so. What time is the lock?
What time did you lock it off that box?
Ballot
Tim Coleman was
box.
here. Mr. Tim Coleman was here, he can tell you. It was early and he was right there and so forth, et
Is he
cetera.
another one of your men or what?
Did he
No,
stay with
he's
the
not
box
one of
the
my
whole
men,
time?
he's just an
Did he
owner.
stay with the box the whole time?
Okay. Anyway, this is about the 56th time some salesman has convinced a small group that if they could just get rid of me, Burgundy would become a utopian Shangri-La.
I wouldn't be with
The names changed to Tory, Panapento, McConkey, McTaggart, Brad Smith, Ken Brown, Ed Simitelli, Joe Gass, John Dobrell, and now David Rothermel. Turns out that all these so-called messiahs had feet of clay. They either had crooked deals for services like what Simitelli did, or they took this.
You say you
A few
don't have
years
an
ago,
agenda, but you
it was
have an
all Bill
agenda.
Gass, Bill Gass, Bill Gass. And then we found out Bill Gass was using the company credit card to buy himself. And he also took things.
180.
But Bill Gass was the savior at that point, you know, so here we go again. Mr. Rothermel says my tenants don't like me and yet I don't know one of them that has switched over to one of his units. Is that true? Have you gotten any of my tenants? I don't think so.
I don't want your
You know,
tenants.
no.
My
Oh,
units are full, Rick.
well,
There's no room for
So
them.
are mine. Okay, so you're saying my tenants.
Well, just read your reviews online, Rick. Have you read your reviews online?
It doesn't matter. Of course, if you kick people out, if
Yeah.
you kick people out, which I've done. Okay, you had 3 people living in your unit. Did you kick them out? You've got a door over there that's white in 428.
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to have a white door.
Lorraine told me they were
There's
gonna
so
paint
many
it.
white doors in here that it's incredible.
Here's the deal, guys.
Out because of a white door.
Here's the
There's
deal.
several here. Why single?
Many of you realize-
Because of a white door.
I'm not.
That's bullshit.
Rick, this isn't part of the annual
Okay,
meeting.
yeah, it is.
No,
No, it's not. This is Rick Schneider ranting on.
all these stories have been told to these people, and some of them are gullible and they're going to believe anything you say. But the point is,
the same stories, Rick.
well, no, I do not.
Yes, you do.
Okay, here's the documentation proving everything I say. Do you want to read it, or would you rather hear the story? No. Yeah. Okay. Just like now, I've got a letter here from my title company. I was accused of exploiting the elderly. And here's a letter from my title company that says, I have never done that, nor would they allow that.
How would they know?
Yeah, well, they would know because they talk to these people, okay? And also, they said that these titles, the units that are supposed to be free and clear, are not. But again,
I have 5 title shirts that show they are.
yeah, well, WR title is probably better than what you do. The point is, here's the letter from
no
the title
leads.
company and so forth. You can read it. It says, we have managed 6 purchases transactions for you during this period. As a licensed title insurance professional, it's my
Are you gonna read every single one of
responsibility.
those pages?
Well, you can read it too, or you can listen to stories. You know, that's the thing. You want to listen to a bunch of
Listen,
stories.
no, I've read your crap, and I've read his crap, okay?
No.
I've read them both.
No, you've heard most of the stories.
No.
But his crap has no documentation to prove it. He can say I exploit the elderly. I can say he robs banks. I can't prove he robs banks. I can prove I don't exploit the elderly. I know you don't. You don't want to hear the facts. You don't want to hear the facts.
I have a question.
And you don't want to hear the fact that these 3 units that he says are free and clear aren't free and clear.
I have a question.
Hey, let's have a little civil.
We can't.
Thank you.
We can't.
Oh, you're the one raising your voice first.
I have a question on that
Okay.
subject. Why would anybody sell you their unit for $15,000, $20,000 less than what it's normally worth? Why would somebody sell you a unit for $30,000 when it's worth at least $50,000?
Well, I haven't bought any units for $30,000 in a long time. The last unit I bought, I paid $70,000 for. The one before that, $50,000 and so forth. The days of 30,000 units are way gone.
But you always buy them cheaper than what market
Well,
value is.
I bought them way back when they were cheap.
Well,
Yes,
you
I did.
bought a lot of them not that long ago.
Oh,
You
no,
bought
no,
cheaper
no,
than the
no.
market.
Again, it's a nice story, but it doesn't gel. You know, it's right here. It's right here with the title company. Now, you can make claims, you can tell stories. The title company is there. Also, these units that he says we have to pay clear title on, we don't. And they've done the research and so forth. One of them it appears that we pay, but we don't on the other 2. The point
I
is,
have a question.
okay,
At what point, when condo fees are late, do you start
okay.
legal
Oh, that's a good
action?
question. Thank you. Again, we have a procedure for this. Okay, and when we sent out the budget information, there was an information sheet and it told you what their procedure was. Again, but I'll tell it to you again. If it goes beyond, the first 3 or 4 days, once it gets to the 10th day, the accounting firm sends a letter and says there's a late fee. If at that point it goes to the 31st day of that month, then it goes over to the attorney, then it gets expensive, okay? That procedure is the same for everybody, okay? Everybody.
But isn't
And
that,
it just so happens
doesn't that, after 30 days, doesn't that become very expensive then?
What's that?
Doesn't it become very expensive if the association is only waiting 30 days to go to a lawyer? Is that not like,
Well, then we don't pay the lawyer. The person that's late pays the lawyer.
And that's why they get foreclosed on, because they can't afford to pay it after it builds up $4,000 or $5,000
No
in
one
fees.
tells them not to pay their.
Have you ever contacted them and say, do we have a problem here? Is there, what do we need to do to get your condo fee
That's
in?
not my job. I pay my fees. I pay my fees and I expect other people to pay their fees.
You don't foreclose on somebody for $300 or $400.
Your option is we don't make everybody pay.
No,
Pretty
that's
soon-
not it at all. First thing you do is you go to small
Pretty
claims.
soon, what you got is you're not able to pay your water bill. And I don't think people would like it if you couldn't pay their water bill. We have to have the rules can't be different from point A, from person A to person B. If you allow that to happen, if you say, okay, we'll let you slide, that's called selective enforcement, which is what he accused me of in the air conditioners, which is wrong, okay? That's
Yeah.
truly selective enforcement, and that would get us in trouble with the Division of Department of Professional Business Regulations. That is selective enforcement. The rules have to be the same for everybody. You can like it or not like it, that's the way it works. And everybody should know that because we send out an information thing with the proposed budget every year. So if you don't know that, you're not reading the stuff, which a lot of people don't, I realize that. Because I get people calling me up all the time and say, what's the assessment for next year? And I say, did you read the budget?
They know your number.
Oh, they know my number.
I don't know your number.
Well, I can give it to you if you want. But a lot of people do know my number, people that I've been dealing with for years and years and years and years.
But you usually don't answer your phone.
I do answer my phone. I don't have my phone with me a lot.
Only at election
Because
time.
I'm not attached to it like some people are. But I also answer my texts and emails. I'm not great about it, I'll admit that, because, you know, I'm not tethered to my phone, my electronic life. I have a life. I go out and walk. As a matter of fact, here's some good news. I just hit 12,792 consecutive days of exercising. January 2nd, 1985, I started. January 1st of 2020 was 35 years. I'm rather proud of that. I'm almost 75. I still play basketball. I can put my hands flat on the floor standing up, which most people can't do even in their 50s. So that's my major concern in life right now, is to keep myself healthy and so forth, etc.
Can I ask a question?
Ask a question.
About the people that are late on their,
What?
the people that are late on their rents.
Right, on their what, rents or assessment?
Please.
Well,
Assessments.
be specific. I'm a finance guy. You have to use the right term.
Oh, I forgot you're cum laude too.
I am cum laude, that's true. I'm not ashamed of that, by the way. I
I'm
took
cum laude.
organic
Hey, listen,
chemistry.
I'm cum laude also, so it
Okay,
doesn't
did you take
shit.
organic chemistry or
It doesn't-
calculus?
Yes, I
Well,
did.
good, well, then good. Good for you.
In fact, it's in biology and chemistry.
Good for you.
I'm asking, why isn't the board telling these people that their rent is not gonna?
It's not rent, it's association.
I don't give a rat's ass what it's
Okay.
called. Why don't you call them?
I'm a
and
detail
tell them?
guy. Call it what it is, okay. Do you think it's our job to call them up and say it's
If
due?
you're taking their units away, you damn straight.
What's that?
If you're taking their units away because they're
No,
they're at the
we're all adults here, folks. We all know what our responsibilities are.
Owning units here.
Should I tell them not to eat ice cream too? You know, I
I'm
mean,
not saying ice cream.
no, what I'm saying is, lots of people do things that aren't good for them. Lots of people eat stuff that isn't good for them, they drink and so forth. I don't drink, I don't use drugs, any of that. But people do, people do. And guess what? Guess what? People are irresponsible about paying their bills. Wait, I've been a landlord for 40 years, guys. I know something about people not paying their bills.
I understand,
There's a certain
but the thing-
percentage of people that don't accept their responsibility.
So what if somebody's laying in a hospital? You're
Again,
gonna foreclose on them. You're gonna start
No,
spending
I'm
money at an
assuming-
attorney.
I'm
No, you
assuming-
sent them a letter.
I'm
They
assuming-
didn't get it, so now it's gone to the attorney?
anybody that's sitting in a hospital probably has a relative or somebody.
Maybe.
Not necessarily.
Well, again,
Maybe not.
Again, our responsibility is to collect the fee. That's what our responsibility is.
Okay, well, we just don't like your method.
What's that?
We just don't like the method.
Yeah, well, okay, but again, that's what we're hired to do. You know, that's what our job is. Our job on the board is not to have social stuff and so forth. It's to take in the revenue, it's to pay the bills, it's to let the contracts and so
And to
forth.
pay
That's our job.
$150,000 in a lawsuit?
What's that?
And to pay $150,000 in a lawsuit?
Remember this, Mr. Gass at some point admitted he was wrong.
And he offered to pay.
And he offered to
No,
pay
he
it.
offered to pay except the legal fees. Okay? We called him, before the lawyers ever got involved in this, he was called. He was called and said, you're gonna pay for this.
Rick,
Well, Mr. Gass might tell you a different story, but I know what happened.
It's a story from him. If that's the case though,
What's that?
If that's the case.
Oh, the
Get on with
chairman
the
does
show.
the vote. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't know what I was talking about. It's not the first time.
Who was here when the lock was cut again?
I'm sorry?
Who was here when the lock was cut?
Mr. Tim Bone here?
Okay, can you stand up, please?
Okay, go ahead and stand up.
Was you here the whole time after the lock was cut?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I was, yeah. I walked outside for a bit, but.
Okay, that's unacceptable then. We
Oh,
don't
it's
know.
not unacceptable, please.
Yes, it is.
Other people were here, Larry was here and so forth. Nobody was messing with a lockbox and so forth, Tim. We don't really need to do that.
I said, okay, you're telling me I don't, but I mean, you know, I'm just
Well, just,
asking.
Tim, you
I
have
just
lots
asked
of
a question,
opinions.
Rick.
You have, Tim, I'm still waiting for you to explain to people when you told people at this, one of the meetings, and other people heard you
Oh, come on,
besides
let's
me,
hear it.
that it was illegal for me to loan money to the condo. And you said it, other people heard it, Tim, and I'd like you to explain how it's illegal for me to
You
loan
know
money
what,
to the
you
condo.
wouldn't have to do that if you didn't blow
Tim,
$150,000.
that's not the answer to my question.
Yeah. you-
Why is it illegal for me to loan money to the condo?
I didn't say, I said to you.
Okay, please,
You would not have a loan
Please.
condo.
please,
Any money
Tim,
spent-
enough.
So we can leave?
Yeah.
Yes.
People would like to leave. I wanna go home and watch the college football championship.
It's gone, it's already
Yeah,
over.
we're still in there.
The timing on this sucked, by the way. My wife is not a football fan, you can tell that. I know, I'm to LSU.
Well,
Okay.
We do a vote, just read the top 5 or read all of them?
Read it, start with the top 5, but read them all.
Okay, top 5 with the most votes, Frederick Snyder with 105. Second most, Sanders Snyder with 103. For third and fourth, both with 97 votes, Craig Anderson and Kevin Brady.
Who's he?
He's sitting right in the back over there, he was, he might have left, I don't know. Oh, he's back there, yeah.
And fifth most votes with 90 is David Rothermel.
How many total units were,
Do you have 90?
voted?
And what were the rest of the votes?
Yeah, read the rest of them.
I'm sorry, what was the rest of the votes?
The rest of the votes with 86, Tom Corcoran.
Who?
Or Tom Corcoran.
Corcoran.
Corcoran, sorry about that. With 85, Christina Crespo Santiago. With 88, Melissa Patriso.
Wait a minute, you said 86, 85, and then 88.
Yes, these are the ones that are out of the top 5.
Oh, no, I know, but give them, oh, okay, go ahead.
And with 84 votes, Cody Rowe.
How many you get?
Wait a minute, okay.
Lastly, with 87 votes, Jody Turner.
Jody Turner at 87? Okay.
So someone, do you have a calculator on your phone?
I have a calculator, but I don't, I didn't use it.
Okay, this way I'll read you the 97. Plus 97. Plus 86.
86.
Plus 85. Plus 88.
So you're on the board. Yeah, right.
Plus 90.
It's gonna be fun. Hold their feet to the fire.
Plus 105. 103.
Yeah.
Plus 87.
I am gonna ask that, we do, you know, that we appoint some people to take a recount. It doesn't have to be done right now, we'll keep it locked up in the office and so forth. No. Anyway,
Here were the total. Is it, not everyone voted for 5.
that's